I'm Danielle with Put a Finish on It, and I'm here today with a mid-year New Year's resolution update. How are you guys doing on your reading-related New Year's resolutions now that we're halfway through the year? I'm doing alright. I don't think I'm going to reach my goal, but I'm still plugging away at it. So far, I have read 21 of the 60 books under my bed, so I'm only about a third of the way through. But that's still a good chunk, and I'm pretty pleased with my progress. In total, I've read 37 books this year, so I am on track for my Goodreads goal of 70 books. But that does make me realize just how many books I've managed to sneak in that haven't been from my TBR box. Since my last update, I've read several books of note, and all of them have been from the TBR box under my bed. I read The Amazing and Death-Defying Diary of Eugene Dingman by Kandell. And at first I thought this was going to be a rather light fare from Kandell, about a boy who's a waiter at a summer resort and falls for the, haughty but gorgeous waitress. And it ended up being kind of dark and more like what I expected from Kandell. Kind of dark and sad. But there we go, another one of my favorite authors from my favorite time period. And I read The Fortune Teller's Daughter by Susan Wilson. I loved Susan Wilson's modern retelling of Beauty and the Beast called Beauty, so I was excited to pick up another book by this author. I think I would have liked it more as a teenager, probably when I was more into reading romance novels. This one was about a fortune teller's daughter who had a stronger ability than her mother to kind of see spirits and feel spirits. So it kind of had an edge of fantasy to it, and there's a man with a troubled past and they feel a connection, and it was okay. If you like that kind of story, there's definitely some beautiful writing in this one. Next I read One Fat Summer by Robert Lipsyte. From the cover, I thought this was going to be a 90s novel. Turns out it's written in 1977 about an overweight 14-year-old. It's one of those sort of coming-of-age stories about what it means to be a man, and I really enjoyed it. And what surprised me halfway through is that it's set in 1952. So it's the first story, I think, of a male perspective YA novel that I've read that's set in that time period. So I really liked some of the details. His mom is studying to become a teacher, and his dad doesn't think she should work. So it was nice to have some of those details from the 50s in this story. I highly recommend it, and it turns out there's a second and third novel about this character, and I will definitely be keeping my eye out for those. And most recently, I've read the middle grade novel Mom, the Wolfman, and Me by Norma Climb. This is about an 11, almost 12-year-old girl of a single mother in New York City, and I just love Norma Climb. I love her writing, and I love her characters. They're so believable and relatable and fun. There's always, a sort of precocious protagonist. And this again was in the 70s in New York City. The mom is a photographer, so for instance they go to a peace march in Washington, and there are just some fun details about that time period told from the point of view of a child. So I highly recommend that if you're a fan of the 70s or of Norma Climb. That's it for this update. Thanks for watching.